Will you leave that thing alone? Can we get going? For God's sake, leave it.
You go, Jess. Let's go.
Well, you're very welcome to the Lightweight Boxing Show, and we like to move about a bit, Ant, but it's the first time we've actually been on a farm in the Lightweight Boxing Show. We are in Dun and Massey in Altrincham.
What a day for it as well.
Very special guest today, and yeah, beautiful day, lovely place as well. There's horses all over the place, stables and everything else. It's a proper working farm. We'll get to that in a minute, exactly why we're here. But of course, if you are new to the Lightweight Boxing Show and you found us on the YouTube channel, don't forget, like us, subscribe, turn on the notifications. You won't miss a show then, of course, because we are getting around and about, aren't we, Anthony?
We are, and look forward to taking this girl out in a bit.
Oh, fair enough. Well, before you do that and you go all Canelo,
yes,
there was a bit of action over the weekend, of course. There's 3 cards we can have a look at. And Steve Wood, VIP Promotions, he was getting his fighters out again at the AJ Bell. And just a couple of, Aqib Fiazi's one lad that I think's got a real future. He's a real talent. Luke Evans, Matt Hatton's fighter, they were both out as well. And both got good wins.
Of course, yeah. Good to see Luke back to winning ways after, he drew on the Matchroom card last time and in a very exciting fight. So it was good to see him back. Matthew praising the work of Kerry Case. He does fantastic work. Picked up a cut, Luke, but, won every round in a good learning fight. And Aqib Fiaz, the first fight after losing his mum, God bless. So a lot of courage, and I'm sure it was hard for him, for the first time to be back in the ring. But no, look well doing it, and a super talented lad. And as well as keeping the other lads, the lads busy. And Steve, you've got to take your hat off to him for what he does there.
Yep, he's one of the most prolific men around in boxing, Steve Wood, certainly. Now, in Liverpool, Nathan Gorman, and we mentioned Daniel Dubois last week because he did the business against Trevor Bryan, but he had the blip, of course, against Joe Joyce. Nathan Gorman had a blip against Daniel Dubois, but he looked good against Thomas Salek, didn't he?
Looked very
got the job
good.
Done very well.
He looked very good, very spiteful. It was a lot more aggressive, but he was controlled with it. Nathan Gorman, super talented, and he's right in the picture there. That British title will become vacant via Nathan Gorman, David Adelaide, Fabio Wardley, who's exciting a lot of people as well. He's right in the picture, and there's some great fights to be made domestically at heavyweight, as well as obviously the success that we're having on the world stage.
And his very retired cousin, Tyson, was ringside to cheer him on as well, wasn't he?
He was. It was great. It was another loud suit from Tyson, but he done him proud. He was very impressive.
He was indeed. Well, I think it's about time that we get on with our special feature because, of course, what we like to do here on the Lightweight Boxing Show is get you around and about the country and talking, as we mentioned, to some of the guys that you've shared the ring with, but you've shared a lot of history with as well. So we are here in Dun and Massey.
Matchington Farm.
Yeah, it's beautiful surroundings. The sun's shining. We're in Altrincham. And a fella that lives just up the road from here, who's, again, as I say, an old foe of yours. So here is Anthony Crolla and Andy Morris.
So Andy, it's been a while. We're here, me, you, Jess, Micah is asleep somewhere in the back. We're going to get on what's brought us down to Matchington Farm in a bit. So I'm going right back from the start. We'll talk about you, career, and what you're doing now. But Andy, you're one of, sounds a bit creepy this, you're one of the first people who I looked up to in amateur boxing because I remember boxing my first fight against your cousin, Anthony Binden. Old pants good now.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, he's doing well.
Doing well. Good, but it was, starting off, and it was, I can remember when you find out the Brooklands Trade and Labour Club, stuff like that, were going through. It was, as a schoolboy, did you win 1 or 2 national titles as a schoolboy? I know you went for junior ABAs.
Yeah, the first title I won was a schoolboy's title.
A national schoolboy title.
Yeah.
And it all happened Andy, from 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
You was winning absolutely everything. And then I think in winning the ABA title, it sort of served as a box off your box. Femi Fentola in the final at Barnsley, I'm right in saying that.
Yeah.
That then, and it's only now when you think about it, I'm sure you've done many a time, but I remember thinking back in the day, for the Commonwealth Games to be in Manchester, the prelims of the boxing tournament to be at the Wythenshawe Forum.
Yeah.
You lived in walking distance to the Wythenshawe Forum. I can only imagine about how big of a deal was that at the time.
to me now, that is massive, innit? It is massive. But at the time, it was seemed normal. Yeah, it was just that was just normal. Yeah, everything seemed to happen for a reason. It just seemed like it was meant to be. Do you know what I mean? The amount of times, these boxing on at the Forum, it was just second nature. Oh, there's boxing on at the Forum. It was a Commonwealth Games, and some of the biggest things that's happening.
It was massive. When you think of some of those names from them games, you went on to, obviously, Darren Barker becoming world champion, and right saying that. I know the finals was at the arena.
Yeah.
Jean Pascal.
Yeah.
He was in it. I was thinking some of the other names, obviously, maybe Paul Smith, he was in the
Paul
team.
Smith,
David Hay pulled out the night before dinner.
I think he had one fight.
Did he? Oh, yeah, he did. You're right. He did
fight.
fight in them dinner. Barker come in the back door. Am I right in saying that? When you look back now, I'm guessing it was the highlight of your amateur career. Would you say they're your fondest memories, them Commonwealth Games, or?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. But fondest memories was obviously going to grassroots at the labour clubs and
Brooklyn, Labour. You turned professional reasonably early. How old was you when you turned professional?
Straight after the game, so I would have been 19. Yeah, I would have been 19.
But I'm right in saying you always had like that pro style from an early age. There was always like the comparisons to Ricky Hatton and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was it always as a pro? I know, like we've said, now you look back with fond memories of grassroots level, but as then, being boxing like a professional, did you always see that was the way you was going to go?
Yeah, that's where I always wanted to head to. You like yourself there. We used to go around sparring and training with at Billy Graham's gym. We went to Moss Side's Champs Camp. Was watching sparring with Brody and that, and you just idolised these lads. You wanted to be a part of that gang.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You wanted to do what they were doing. I can remember training in Ensley Bingham. I was training in Billy Graham's gym, and Ensley Bingham gave me a pair of boxing boots. I was only a size 4, and I think he was a size 9, but I had to wear them because Ensley Bingham gave me these boots, and I wore them. I was like Coco the Clown. Yeah. Just wore them. So,
good times, great times when you look back. I think. Do you know sort of memories of your pro career? Saying it like it was a long time ago. You won an English title, didn't you? Who did you fight for your English title now?
Rocky Dean. Rocky Dean. Yeah. God, he was hard. He was
tough. He would come all night, wouldn't he?
Tough lad, yeah. Tough lad. And then I don't think I boxed for it after that. I think I won it. I think I won it once.
Featherweight. That was at featherweight, though, wasn't
featherweight,
it?
Yeah.
And then you won the title at sort of the old-fashioned way. You went on away soil and boxed John Simpson, who's a very good fighter. I know he's boxed a few times, but he's a very good fighter. And do you know winning, like, I think this for myself, Andy, I remember winning a Lonsdale belt, and I imagine it'd be something similar for you where it meant the world to my dad. And he wasn't one who'd say much, my dad, like that, but I knew the history of the belt and everything like that, and I think that was sort of a proud moment for him, and that probably made me proud. I think your dad being involved with you from such a young age and being a boxing man.
Yeah.
Did you have the same feeling
Definitely.
when you brought that Lonsdale belt?
My granddad, which is obviously Andrew Senior as well. I think he put a bet on. I mean, I won the British title after he died, and he put a bet on that I'd win it before I was going to win it before I was 21.
Brilliant.
So, but it's sort of like not pressure, but there was a bit of
of course,
I wanted to. That's what I wanted to do, and I think once I won the British title, I sort of like fulfilled my goal.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I didn't. I wasn't. I sort of like fell out of love with the sport. Once I'd done that was it. I've reached where I wanted to reach. Maybe some people say, "Oh, you could have won this. Shoulda, woulda, coulda," but deep down, I think that's all I wanted to do.
So, Andy, the night we shared a ring, I don't know what. Do you remember the fight well at all, or?
No, I don't remember it well. I remember bits of rounds.
Did you know that night if it wasn't going to go your way, that'll probably be it? Or,
yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, they're quite vicious, aren't they? Your management, and it was either basically we got told it's either you or me.
Yeah, and that's what
whoever
think
wins, and I mean, on the obviously I give everything on that night. But yeah, it was your night.
I think, and do you know what, Andy? That night, genuinely, you could ask any of my mates. And they'll say, I've never, listen, I've been flattened in my career once, but I've never been hurt as bad as I was that night. So obviously I've never told you this. You'd hit me to the body, and for a minute, for a minute, like, it seemed like a minute, it might have been less, but it seemed like an hour. It hurt me to the body, and thankfully my poker face must have been good, because I thought, if you hit me again, I'm going to go over. Honestly, I was literally crippled, in there.
So you could have let me know. You could have let me know.
No, listen, that's one of the proudest moments. Like, my mates a lot of times go, I've never been hurt like that. You'd hit me to the body, you'd come out of solar plexus. And I remember just thinking, just hide it. But like you said, there was so much riding on it, where there's a famous line where Joe was Joe in the corner, he C-bombed, saying about, you won't get another chance if you lose this. And that it was, and that sort of like, it was sink or swim, and I think a bit, and it's probably harsh really, because it was a great fight, and people said it should have been for more than the English title, but I believe like that, and I think, you had a thriving business and something like that. You could go back to do that.
Yeah.
At the time, I was living in bunk beds at my mum and dad's with my little brother.
It prevailed, didn't it? The hungrier fighter won, and that's what happened. It's a lesson learned, isn't it? For the more fighters there, it's got to be done.
I think, like you said, it worked sort of for me that night, and I think, Andy, but I'll always say this now, genuinely, not just because you're on camera. One of the most very talented fighters I ever shared the ring with, and it was an honour to share the ring with you, and I mean that.
Thank you very much. Considering you've been in with Loma as well.
Mate, I genuinely mean that.
That's brilliant.
Well, one of the judges didn't have me winning a round with you until the time of the stoppage, so it shows you, and it was fair, so...
Yeah.
No,
well, I said my eyes shut. I can remember one of the things. My eyes shut, and I couldn't see. I was thankful
at the time, but I know
where you were coming from. I didn't. You were fast anyway, but I couldn't see where you were coming from, and then that was it. Then
I learned an awful lot that night.
Yeah, no, it was a memorable night anyway, and thanks.
No, thank you, Andy.
Well, I think you're onto something with these chats, Ant, because they are fascinating, genuinely. You catch up with these guys, and obviously John Murray last week and Andy, and you just haven't got any enemies in this sport, have you? I mean, it's quite a rare thing. No. They're all your best mates, but I mean, I know that there's a lot of history with yourself and Andy.
There was, and I genuinely mean it. It's my first ever amateur fight was against Andy's cousin, but I genuinely mean this. I wasn't just saying it then. He was one of the very first people I looked up to, in amateur boxing. He wasn't a professional, and he was so talented then. And again, I feel like I said it with John, underappreciated. And I can only imagine that feeling, being an 18, 19-year-old lad representing England in the Commonwealth Games at the Women's Shaw Forum, like a stone throw away from your house. It was unbelievable. And
it was interesting as well, looking at Andy's face when you mentioned about him hurting you to the body, because I'm not sure whether he was going to laugh or cry, because he's probably thinking,
I genuinely mean this. I've never been hurt as bad in life. I know, like I said, I've been knocked out and stuff, but I've never been hurt that bad. But he was a very good body puncher, and he caught me right on the sweet spot. And I remember thinking, when's this gonna go away? That was as deep as I've ever had to dig in my career. I genuinely mean that.
Thing is, as well, again, he's a nice, quiet lad, and
great lad,
he's not one to give it the big one by any stretch. But the little story there about Ensley Bingham giving him boots.
Great.
He gave my lad a pair of his boots.
That's brilliant.
My lad was buzzing because they train at the same gym and all the rest.
Did he have to wear a few pairs of socks with him as well?
But he's given a really lovely Adidas
nice gesture.
Boots, so
he's giving back now at Timperley and stuff. And brilliant.
He is indeed. Well, Andy Morris there, fantastic fighter, an even better man. And again, this is Jess. In a minute, we're going to get you on that, I think.
We are going to.
Of course, we didn't forget Artur Beterbiev at the top of the show, because we wanted to get into this one a bit. Because, again, that showing against Joe Smith Jr., who again, is a big hitter as well. He was jabbing his way in at the first round. You thought, is he onto something here? But Beterbiev.
I think, do you know what, I was just talking about this before, and obviously, Beterbiev has been hurt. Callum Johnson, gym mate, putting down heavily, like on the front foot. And whether Joe Smith Jr. took a bit from that and thought, I'm going to put it on Beterbiev. But when you look at it now, you think those tactics were suicidal in the way that he was coming behind the jab, but he wasn't getting his feet there, and he looked an absolute beast. And now everyone wants to see this the Bivol fight, to see who is the best light heavyweight on the planet. But before that, it looks a done deal, and what a fascinating fight. Anthony Yard versus who's challenging Beterbiev. It is going to be, there's two power punches there, and even so, we might even get to see it over in the UK. So if so, I look forward to that even more.
That would be something. But as you say, there's Bivol, and Callum Johnson's going to be going to be in action soon. So he's looking at this whole situation as well, isn't he?
Callum, since that fight, he come out the ring straight away and he says, "Yo, I want that rematch," which everyone would think, "Oh, you're mad," but he didn't just have success against him. He hurt him. He put him down heavily, and he says by his own admission, "I probably froze a little bit when I put him down," and it's just his biggest regret. But as for like you say, Beterbiev, you've got to have him as number one. Just because Bivol beat Canelo, you've got to have Beterbiev as number one. Whether he beat Bivol, I'm not sure, but I think it's that a favourite, especially after the weekend.
Some matchup that, isn't it? And again, another fella that's going to be watching this is another your stablemates, old stablemates, Callum Smith, of course, in that division now as well.
Callum Smith is a fight that he would love. He would love. I think there's a big card he's going to be on very soon, which is sort of just getting announced.
What do you reckon, Jess? I think she's ready for you.
We'll see. I don't know if she is ready for me, but we'll
goes
see.
bareback.
I'm not going to go bareback.
Well, let's
but
see.
I am going to jump on.
Andy's ready. Let's get him on.
Pull the left rein.
The left rein?
Yeah, the left rein, because you want it to go left.
Indicate.
Yeah, just pull it to the left. That's it.
Yeah.
And once she does it, just let him loose again.
Yeah. Shut up.
Come up.
Right, now we're talking. Now, yes, I got it now.
How you bouncing? You go up and down then.
Right, yeah, so we'll try it now.
Yeah, as she goes, as you feel it.
Yeah. So
You've got to go with her.
I'll go now, yeah?
Yeah. Trot on.
Trot!
Trot!
Fast one, yeah. Trot!
So Jess is back in there. I don't know who was in more danger actually, you or Jess.
I was very Canelo-esque there. The way if she wouldn't,
you looked just like him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, just like him. Yeah.
Oh well, out your comfort zone, I think is the phrase that you might use for that. Right. Well, it isn't every week you're gonna have to get on a horse, but this weekend coming up, it is Coventry and it's a Sky show, isn't it? And again, this is the action to look forward to. Pick the bones out of that.
It is. Obviously, we've got Sam Egginton on, who we never see in a bad fight. Never ever. I think coming off fight of the year.
Yeah.
One I'm really interested in. We were speaking to her a few weeks back at the Writers' Awards.
Yep.
Karis is making her professional debut, and there's a lot of Olympians, and I feel like she's going to overlook. But stylistically, I think she's going to take to the pro game so well.
And obviously, Lauren's already just made the debut. They're going to go in tandem, aren't they? Yeah.
Together. I mean, with Lauren, obviously, there's a lot of eyes on Lauren, Olympic gold medalist, but I believe that Karis is going to go under the radar nicely, and I believe there's you can never say a certain world champion, but I wouldn't be one bit surprised if she goes all the way as a professional.
Sky Nicholson, of course, who she boxed in the
That's
gate.
the fight eventually. I'd love to see that for a bit of a unification. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Sky as well. And do you know what? Their fight in the Olympics was fantastic. It was you know, it was a fight that really could have gone either way. It was a fantastic fight. It was one of my favourite fights of the Olympics, genuinely. And I believe both girls have got potential to win a world title, and it'd be great. How good would it be to see a unification between them two?
Well, that's just about it now. So, of course, remember to subscribe, to like, to watch all the action and stick to everything. Get your notifications on the YouTube channel so you can follow all the action on the Lightweight Boxing Show. But he's been on a horse. We've been in fields. We've been
What next?
done in Massey, lovely surroundings. It's not often that we get out to the countryside to do these things. And catching up with Andy Morris as well. Absolutely fantastic chat with yourself. So we look forward to do the same again next weekend. Why not?
I look forward to it. Hopefully they'll
Jess is on board as well.
Jess can come with us.
I've got much to say.